Hello everybody, welcome back. Today is May 2nd, it's a Friday, and we're here with robot nonsense stories to end the week.
And the robots have risen. We are in the robot future, and it's good to be in that business right about now.
OpenAI forecasts 1,000% revenue surge as ChatGPT growth explodes.
So they expect in 2025, 8 billion, and in 2029, 50 billion. It's quite the...
That's feels a little, I don't know, maybe I'm crazy. I keep thinking things are going to collapse and it never happens, so you know.
Nothing ever happens.
Nothing ever happens.
Right. But it does feel like that there are a lot of headwinds against the consumer piling on more subscriptions. Right?
Yeah.
Like savings account are at historic lows, credit card debt is at historic highs. Where's the money coming from? What are you going to cut out of your life to keep your ChatGPT?
ChatGPT, which like, I guess it would help you with certain job tasks, but it's like if it's the choice between like spending $200 a month on the subscription or just writing a few emails, I don't know.
But they do have a new version, and this version is supposed to be more toward coding and, you know, like has the reasoning stuff and everything. And I have the weird naming convention, which makes no sense. But some people have been running it through the paces, and they found something interesting.
OpenAI's new reasoning AI models hallucinate more.
In fact,
33%.
From 15. More than double the hallucinations.
That's more than 1 in 4.
So they had, there's a hilarious quote in here where he was trying to explain that away, and he was like, well, you know, it's really creative. It's coming up with all these, you know, new ideas and stuff, and sometimes they're fake. That's just part of it.
If you had a human who was doing that, like that you had hired, and every like third time they spoke to you, it was just a lie, you would fire that person. And yet,
well, there's another thing that have been driving people crazy, and we've been talking about this. Actually, we talked about it last week. Yeah, you were complaining
about it.
And I hate it. And you can't just talk it out of it. It'll be like, oh, of course, I'll stop doing that. But it won't. This is really baked in. They've made these AI models, I think they're supposed to be sort of like corn syrup, right? Disgustingly sweet, but it keeps you addicted. Because a lot of people are, you know, just socializing with these things. They're not using them as functional. But a lot of people recognize the falsehood of this, and it is awful.
Annoyed ChatGPT users complain about bots' relentlessly positive tone. And apparently this is not a bug, this is a feature. They were like, people liked it when we made it really positive, so we've made it more positive.
Brilliant, profound, cut to the heart, Claude loves to say. You've cut to the heart of this argument. And that's not ChatGPT. Claude does the same thing. So clearly this is an industry. They've discovered that the users like it, right? Because you know they're running all kinds of
they like being puffed
metrics.
Up. Yeah. I don't know what this says about my psyche, but like if someone's like this in real life or like they even just like a normal praise, I'm like, you're lying. Just stop lying to me.
Because people are fake. And I feel like I can detect it. And I know that sometimes that's a sign of mental illness, but I don't know. I kind of believe it. So yeah, a lot of people don't like it, but I guess maybe more people do than don't because they're still doing it. I don't know. You can also convince it of anything. Like it'll take any position that you take almost. I mean, some
sky
obvious
is green.
ones.
Would it do sky is green?
I could probably do that. Yeah. I mean, maybe not objective facts, but like anything to do with politics, anything to do with social issues, stuff like that. It'll be like, oh, you know what? You make some good points. Even when I'm just trying to make terrible points. And they've been giving us warnings, and it's amazing because in the 5-year period, we went from one polar of like that will never happen to now it's, yes, we are absolutely going to do this. There's nothing you can do to stop it.
Exclusive. Anthropic warns fully AI employees are a year away.
You got 1 year.
Oh, or water salesman tells you, like, I mean, he's probably not wrong, but also he has a product to sell. This is marketing.
I don't think he's wrong, though. The problem is they don't have to be good or fully functional for people to start using it.
Right. Well, yeah. And it's the CEO just says AI is the hot new thing. And this will save us money for a couple quarters. And then it's like, oh, oops.
So he imagines a world where humans will manage a series of AI agents, but what he doesn't necessarily talk about is that only one human is required in that scenario, whereas currently that might be 25 humans. What happens to the other 24?
I don't know. There's part of me that thinks there's a little bit overestimation about how good some of the things are, but
Oh, for sure, yeah.
it doesn't matter though, yeah, right? Like,
But
whatever.
In other ways, it is staggering what it can do.
Right.
I mean, the thing that I've trained to do my whole life, it's really good at. And that's scary. So we know that Google has paid to put its search engine on other people's phones. Apple, famously, of course, they're giving them billions of dollars to be the default search engine. It shows you how powerful it is. Now, the weird thing is, Google is currently in court being just raked over the coals and told they're going to have to be broken up for that behavior, which makes this behavior so concerning.
Google paid Samsung enormous sums for Gemini AI app installs. Blech.
So this is per device. Per device that Samsung agrees to automatically install Gemini, they get paid a lot. Because Google knows from
But Google's
experience.
done this, yeah.
They know that if they get it in front of you and it's the easiest one that you can just click on and it just works, people will use it.
I think Bixby has a chance. I think Samsung really gave up on Bixby, didn't it?
What's the Amazon one that you're always making fun of?
Rufus.
Rufus, yeah.
I saw a little thing. It popped up in my thing. It was like, do you want to ask Rufus about this? And I was like, no, I don't want to.
So I actually asked Rufus a question. Right? I can't remember what product I was looking at, but I was looking at something and I asked Rufus a question. Then I asked a follow-up question. 2 questions here. It's like not a big conversation. It started describing an entirely different product. Ridiculous.
Rufus is never going to be worthy of Alexa.
You think they're a couple?
Actually, they could be related. They are from the same company. They're not really a couple.
Who else are they going to date, though?
There's Siri.
Siri's dead. Siri would be like dating a Cro-Magnon. Like, how are you going to have a conversation? She's so far behind.
ChatGPT, but like, they don't have a cute little avatar for ChatGPT. It's not got like a human name.
Imagine what a Romeo and Juliet that would be. You're not allowed to cross over.
There's fan fiction of this somewhere.
And Apple also do not have AI, but they kind of say they do, which is actually illegal.
Apple drops available now from Apple Intelligence page. They got in trouble for this.
So the National Advertising Division, which is part of, I think, is that part of the government? Oh, yeah, part of the Better Business Bureau.
Oh.
They looked at this and it said Apple Intelligence you can have it right now, but it's actually only a couple of features that you can have right now.
But they described a lot of other features that were coming soon, but didn't call them out as coming soon.
They determined that was a lie. And Cursor is interesting. I actually messed around with Cursor. Cursor was in your IDE. You could plug Cursor in as a plugin, like Visual Studio Code, and they would have the ability to rewrite without you copying and pasting. I found it to be a complete mess. It's like wrecked all the code. It would put stuff in the wrong place. Sometimes it would just comment everything out and stop and whatever.
You don't need this file anymore.
Yeah. Apparently their internal stuff was running on the same systems.
Cursor AI's own support bot hallucinated its usage policy.
So somebody was like, hey, Cursor, can I run this same account on multiple machines with the same key? And Cursor was like, absolutely not. You are not allowed to do that. That wasn't true. You can run Cursor as many times as you want. I mean, you're paying for... Actually, you're running your own API key. You're not paying Cursor other than buying the software. Or maybe it's a subscription. I don't remember. But yeah, that was a bit of a misstep. And like I was saying earlier, at this point, no one is pretending anymore. They know where we're going, and they're not hiding it.
Famed AI researcher launches controversial startup to replace all human workers everywhere.
So this guy had he was early in Google, I think, right? I mean, he's got some cred, some street cred. But yeah, he's like, no, I'm going to replace everybody. But it'll be good because then humans will be free to do whatever they want. Because that meshes with all of human history, right? He did admit that the current AI could not accomplish this.
It's all trying to get funding, right? Like, do you think that's just looking for startup capital?
Or perhaps a headline.
Yeah.
Or that's probably a very wealthy man, right? Probably just bored, just looking
bored
to
and
get in the mix.
not connected to reality, right? Like,
and we've been spending all this time talking to AI. It's been telling him he's brilliant. Of course you can do that.
You cut to the heart of the matter. You should start this company.
You should destroy all of humanity. And AI is now, of course, incredible things that we're seeing in terms of image generation, video generation, voice, everything. A lot of people early on probably thought that was not something that was going to come as quickly as it did, and they made some bad decisions.
Regrets. Actor who sold AI avatar stuck in Black Mirror-esque dystopia.
So they talk about this one dude, Adam Coy. I don't know what he's been in, but he had enough of a name. They were like, hey, we'll give you $1,000. And I don't think he was a big actor, right? He was just like, all right, I'll take the $1,000.
Probably a struggling actor because it's probably like $1,000, a lot of money.
Yeah. And so now he's looking at he is in videos about like really weird stuff that he doesn't want to be representing.
So a lot of them are scam videos where it's like people trying to scam people out of money or whatever.
Yeah. And so he signed it away and there's not really a lot he can do about it. They now own his AI soul, I guess.
His likeness, his voice, everything.
Now they have said, this company that's doing it, they say that they're taking some of the money and putting it into like a trust to be paid out to these people eventually.
I don't believe that.
Yeah,
that's really nice, like a little blurb to put on their website. I don't believe that.
But also let's think about Hollywood accounting, how famously
that
screws the actor. They're going to apply that to that. It's never going to make money.
Lord of the Rings never made money.
Of course not.
Yeah.
Which is weird because when I saw it, the theater was packed.
Yeah. I saw it like 10 times. They made a little bit of money off me.
Yeah. Well, and they've sold you every box set.
Yeah.
And yes, AI is, oddly enough, become sort of a friend, maybe a comforting presence to the young people, but they also recognize that it is destroying their livelihoods.
Gen Z grads say their college degrees were a waste of time and money as AI infiltrates the workspace.
It's hard to argue with them, right? How much debt are you going to go into?
Right. It's a problem with thinking of college just as job training, but that's a cultural thing. It's not their fault for buying into what the culture told them.
But here's the thing. With AI and a little bit of effort and some structure, you could replace everything at that college at home. Learn everything yourself. If you only want personal development and you don't want that piece of paper, what use is the school? Other than, keggers and getting laid and everything, having a fun time.
Well, you get critiques from your classmates, but that's probably only relevant in cases of like art or...
Just go on Reddit.
Which is also bots.
But the Gen Zers also, they have some misconceptions about AI. It's hard to blame them.
An alarming number of Gen Z AI users thinks it's conscious.
They had some great stats in here. This is PC Mag. They got these nice infographics.
1 in 4 believe it's already conscious.
So the please and thank you we learned. Did we cover that story?
I think we did, where people are more polite to it.
And that costs ChatGPT a ton of money because it's extra tokens. 55% believe it could replace their job. I'd say that's
probably more
higher.
accurate. Yeah.
Yeah, number's probably bigger. Thinks it can outperform a creative task. I don't know about creative tasks.
It's just the low confidence because they haven't been taught how to.
Yeah, but there's so many. 9% want an AI boss. These people are just hedging, right? Uh-huh. Someday they're going to judge me.
I got to be nice to the AI.
And moving on to a couple of actual robots, we have another entry into the self-driving taxi service.
Uber, Volkswagen pair up to launch robotaxi service in U.S. with self-driving and electric microbuses.
Not till 2027, though. Mm-hmm. But we got Tesla coming soon, right? Also, if the highway safety boards keep cutting back, maybe they don't have to wait till 2027. Just to put them out there.
Yeah.
What's the worst that could happen?
Screw safety. Safety third, man. Profits first.
And the humanoid robots have made quite a lot of forward momentum, but it seems that they still are quite lacking in some ways.
China pits humanoid robots against humans in half marathon.
A lot of the robots didn't make it. They ran out of battery, they fell down, they broke down, whatever. The best robot finished in 2 hours and something. The best human made 1 hour and something. So
I bet that robot couldn't throw hands as well as any of those marathon runners.
I might not be able to throw hands, but it probably could just like grab you and snap you.
You think?
Maybe not these.
Yeah, they don't look.
Actually, look at this one. He's just got little stick arms.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say a lot. I don't have a lot of muscle mass either, but I could probably push him over.
Man, what a great series of videos if we could just have you wrestle various robots.
It's battle bots. But it's just me running a marathon and pushing the bots over.
But your enemy, your like perfect enemy is not a robot. We all know that. We know what your enemy is. And we often see it's like, oh, look, these black holes, this is going to be the one that gets you. I think this actually might be the one that gets you because this one, all black holes have a companion star. This one is looking. It's single.
I am the star.
It's single and you are going to mingle.
There really is a black hole on the loose in Sagittarius. That's like, it sounds like a astrology headline. A black hole in Sagittarius. I'm sorry.
So yeah, this one, they're not sure why, but it's got no star and it's mobile. It's kind of small, but so are you.
Well, so they were thinking it might be a neutron star, but I guess they had some other data that pointed out that no, it's a black hole.
Or it could be that they don't know what they're talking about.
No, I mean, I feel like they would know, like the scientists here would know more than me about astronomy.
Hot black hole, a single black hole
in your area.
And it is, galaxy speaking, it is in your area. Just right over the next block over. And color, your liberal arts education, you probably think you know all the colors, don't you? But you're wrong.
Who knew? Scientists claim to have found color no one has ever seen before. Hilariously, there's a picture of the color in the article, though they're like, it's a close approximation. It's teal.
But
they call it something else. I forgot the name.
So the idea here is that this color is not like photons bouncing off of something can't create this color. You have to get lasers blasted directly into your eyes, which I've always heard was a bad idea.
I've been told to keep lasers out of my eyes, yeah.
But they say that, yeah, you can see this little square here, but it's nothing really like that. The saturation, he says, is overwhelming when you actually see it with the laser eyeball shots.
I don't know what the practical use of this is, but
There's
interesting.
None.
Yeah.
There's none. But,
speaking of no practical uses.
Well, this is photons bouncing off of things, right? A man's face, and he wants it to be as presentable as possible.
Hegseth orders makeup studio installed at the Pentagon.
It sounds like from the text, though, that it's actually just they had an extra room and he had a director's chair put in there and a mirror or something. That doesn't
No, they were saying originally that the proposal was $40,000.
But they didn't do that.
They didn't do it, no.
They just had a couple of guys come in and drywall and put up some stuff. But that raises the question of, like, why should our political leaders have makeup? It's
a makeup team. Like, I mean, if you want to wear makeup yourself, that's fine. But,
tell me that it's all a show without saying that it's all a show, right? It's fiction. It's a production. Now, I did not realize how hot the Virginia flag was.
It makes you feel bad for living in Kentucky where it's just two dudes clasping forearms.
Oh, yeah. They got literally a hot chick stomping a tyrant. I mean, geez, I'm so jealous of it.
Virginia flag banned in Texas district over exposed breast.
So, yeah, you can see there she's got one out. And is that a pencil?
Not sure. It might be a spear. I think it's a spear.
No, spear in one hand. What's in the other hand?
I don't know. I was distracted by her breast being out.
Maybe it's a stake from killing vampires. Make it even cooler. But But yeah, Texas, they got these new laws about like, banning books and stuff like that. And I guess the letter of the law is if one of the boobs is out, it's got to go, right? So they have cut out whole sections of the Virginia curriculum.
Yeah, probably just, like state flags. It's like you can't see Virginia's. It's only for elementary school students, but still, I mean, come on. How weird is it? How like the level of like strange where it's like you can see probably like your mom breastfeeding at home, but you can't see a boob in a textbook. Like, come on.
At home, every kid who desires to see boobs can right now.
Right.
Absolutely. They see them every day. They are probably scrolling Reddit. There's a never-ending supply of them. Why are we still pretending here? It makes no sense. Maybe it's because we're all idiots because we're poisoning ourselves.
Toothpaste widely contaminated with lead and other metals, U.S. research finds.
And it was particularly bad in toothpaste for children. Probably helps to, like if you want to make it taste good.
Oh, yeah.
That's
a little sweeter. Yeah. I have to use the Bronner's toothpaste. I use Bronner's toothpaste when I'm on trail because it's supposed to be like more natural, whatever. But man, it tastes awful.
I guess you could do like charcoal peroxide type of stuff, but I don't know.
The charcoal I've heard, and I'm not a dentist, so I don't actually know, but like, isn't it supposed to be too abrasive for your teeth? Like it can strip the enamel.
I think that's true of peroxide as well, right?
Yeah, but I think charcoal might be worse.
Baking soda? Baking soda is a toothpaste alternative, right? Tastes terrible.
Tell us your toothpaste alternatives in the comments below.
But don't you want some fluoride?
Yeah, you do. I think the fluoride is not the problem. It's the charcoal toothpaste. It's like they're just like the scrubbies in it or whatever.
Microplastics?
Well, yeah, whatever is used in those. I've heard that. I don't know.
Well, you're going to have to, of course, try to figure it out because dental health, you want to take care of your teeth because if you have to have somebody look at it, that's going into the healthcare system, which will bankrupt you and make you regret ever being alive. So a lot of people are looking for alternatives.
NYC woman dies after unlicensed surgeon tried to remove her butt implants. Oh.
Seems like she was allergic to lidocaine.
Oh.
And he pumped her full of it because obviously...
Didn't check that on the chart?
And her heart stopped in the chair. He called 911, but by the time they got her there, she was brain dead. So he's going to be going away for a while. Getting rid of butt implants.
Well, yeah, because bodies are not just bodies, they're trends. Now the trend is heroin chic again.
Really?
That's, yeah.
I'm behind the times. I still like the big butt. No one cares about what I think. And we've been covering the downfall of the academic journals for quite some time here, and now we have a new milestone.
A new journal record. Sage Title retracts 678 more papers, tally over 1,500.
All these headlines that we show you that has to do with health or whatever, it's usually in the nonsense section, so hopefully you don't take it seriously anyway. But these papers come out, it goes in the news cycle, it creates all the content and everything, and it's all just BS, most of it at least. And then they retract it, and we move on with our lives.
I mean, some of it is people just being terrible, I'm sure. But isn't that how it's supposed to work? You put out a hypothesis and it's like, this is what we noticed. And then you publish it. And then as more information becomes available.
No, the paper itself is supposed to be peer reviewed. And it's supposed to be like way more than hypothesis. It needs to be proven and
reproducible,
hopefully repeated. And so trying to reproduce it was a big part of how they're catching these. They keep trying.
And nobody can.
And it never
but they've
works.
already been published, yeah.
And the whole journal thing, like what happens is a journal gets popular and then somebody swoops in and buys it. And that was the point all along. It's like, hey, let's just get it good enough that we can sell it off. Kind of like tech companies. And then the next person gets it and does horrible things with it off of your reputation.
I just hate the society we live in sometimes.
And when it comes to science, people are taking some pretty dramatic leaps on some stuff that maybe we're not sure about.
Experiments to dim the sun will be approved within weeks. That can't have negative effects for our plants.
Or us. What about our vitamin Ds?
Oh, man. You'll have to buy it on a subscription plan.
Oh, of course. It'll be
You bundle it with ChatGPT.
from Amazon, the new Amazon healthcare.
Rufus, yeah. Rufus will sell it to you.
That'd be great. So they're going to drop some stuff in the clouds to make them brighter to reflect more sun away from the planet. I don't know what to say about that.
Oh, this is a follow-up.
Pour one out. It's the end of an era.
Billy McFarland cancels Fyre Festival 2 and puts brand up for sale a week after postponement.
Time to pass the torch, he says.
To who? Like, who wants that?
Is it a torch or is it more of a turd?
A flaming turd. It's not really a torch.
He said it's gotten too big of a brand for one man to handle it. He can't take it. He's too busy. So.
Busy panicking because he didn't actually line up a venue or anything else.
Now, you had a very traditional wedding.
Yeah,
it was nice.
It was small, but yeah, it was fairly traditional.
You could have done something much more exciting, though.
I could have. Couple gets married in the pit during Cannibal Corpse Pittsburgh show. My Oma probably would have had a little bit of trouble getting in the pit.
That's true. They were listening to Unleashing the Bloodthirsty, which actually, if you know anything about Cannibal Corpse, is one of their more tame song titles.
Well, it's more romantic for the venue.
You think that was a slower jam?
They were all slow dancing in the pit.
No, the people were moshing around.
Oh,
them.
yeah.
So, yeah. You know what? I think that relationship has what it takes. It's going to go the distance. They're going to be 80 years old, moshing together toward the end. And Coachella happened recently. And man, it seems like Coachella is just a big get-together for rich, annoying people, doesn't it?
Yes.
And this fella had a little bit of trouble controlling himself.
Dead Mouse apologizes for blacking out during drunk Coachella set. Probably my last Coachella. I actually like a few of his songs, but it doesn't surprise me, perhaps, that a DJ would pass out at a booth.
Here's a question, though. Why would we even need him to be sober for him to play live, right? Couldn't he just play the songs?
I mean, it depends. Sometimes they live mix.
Oh, how groundbreaking.
I mean, the songs would just play and then there'd be like a hard cut, I guess, if you didn't have someone doing it.
Yeah, I could do that so easily. Also, I think you mispronounced that. I think it's actually called Dead Mouse 5. And the
Ew.
political world, I just recently learned that, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. I better not say it. There's a word that describes the following of this one social media. And a lot of people were using it, and I was like, what is that word? Because it sounds bad. It sounds like someone who might be doing things to women against their will. But no, it just means that you're part of this movement. That's what this guy is.
I'm not. I don't know what word you're trying to.
People are going to put it in the chat, and we're going to get demonetized.
Demonetized, yeah. I mean, technically this channel, this channel's still monetized. Republican governor candidate proposes female undocumented immigrants can stay if they marry, quote, incels.
So, yeah, he actually said that. That's not much of a paraphrase.
That's killdozer.
He said, the idea here is we deport all the men. We keep the women for 1 year. That's their grace year, where they can seek out their incel to marry, to stay in the country. Wouldn't they all just get divorced one day after that? I guess you have to stick around for a certain amount of time, right? I know they actually monitor you and come and visit your house. And
to make sure it's not a green card marriage.
What a hilarious job that would be, right?
Trying to determine if they're a real couple or
after this.
This is unhinged.
But also, if you're one of those that political extreme, do you want mixed babies? Doesn't that conflict with their... Maybe they're not planning on having babies.
No, they want babies, though. That's all they keep going on. They want to give the tax credit or $5,000. And I was like, that doesn't cover 2 months of daycare.
That's a terrible deal.
Yeah.
That's the worst deal ever. And we've seen a lot of these headlines where high-ranking people who are telling us that things aren't as bad as we see them are themselves victims.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi's bag, including $3,000 in cash, is stolen from D.C. restaurant. Now, if she was one of us poors, the cops would look at her and say, why'd you have $3,000 in cash in your bag?
For sure, you could get that seized.
Yeah.
No question. She kind of explained that away, and she was like, oh, well, my family was in town, and I wanted to treat them, so I had $3,000 in cash. I was like, bro, you've got a phone, you got credit cards. Why? I mean, I'm for cash. That's great, but I just can't imagine her being a big cash spender. Mm-mm. Do you think if Kristi Noem goes to like a 7-Eleven and hands them 100, do they hit it with a marker? Do they test it?
We tested, like when I worked at a grocery store, we tested anything. I think.
Yeah,
when there was a flea market in town, we tested everything over 20.
But she's a Homeland Security secretary. I mean, they probably don't know that.
Yeah, you wouldn't recognize necessarily when they came into a shop. It's like, oh, who's you? You came in here with $3,000 cash? Yeah, I'm testing all those bills.
That'd be hilarious. And yes, shoplifting has become so prevalent. You know what I learned about a news scam? This was so brilliant. They go and they take all the gift cards, and you know how the gift cards like aren't activated?
Right.
They take them home, they scratch off the scratchers, they record the numbers, they reapply the scratch off, take them back and put them there. But now they've got the numbers. So as soon as you buy one, they just...
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy what they come up with.
Speedy Gonzalez accused of 20K Walmart shoplifting spree across northern Georgia.
This guy was a little more low tech. What he would do is he would buy like one of those plastic bins or mailboxes or something that is a container. And he would stuff it full of diabetic testing supplies and small high value items. And then he would check out and he would leave. Took him a long time to get him.
Wow.
He had been hitting the whole state of Georgia.
Diabetic testing supplies are going to be behind like a locked counter now.
They probably already are, right? I guess not in that case.
Yeah.
Some places, everything's behind the counter. Now, koalas are adorable, but apparently living with them is not much fun. And they are a pest in some ways. And I think they get horribly diseased, and that becomes a problem. And they have a unique way of dealing with them.
Aerial shooting of koalas approved by Vic Government.
Victoria,
yeah.
So, yeah. Helicopter koala hunting. It's expensive, right?
It's expensive and they're not. I mean, I don't know a lot about koalas, but they seem like they wouldn't be that fast. Like, they're probably just chilling in the tree. Do you need to hunt them from a helicopter?
I guess. And apparently, horses. Australia has
they're not a
helicopter hunted horses.
Yeah, they're not a native animal there.
But some people have criticized this by saying that, hey, you should be observing the koalas to find out if they have these problems. How are you doing that from a helicopter? And with the horses in particular, they claim that it has been observed, it has taken up to 2 days for the horse to die because it was not a clean shot.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I don't know about Australia. There's rules about, like, for bow hunting around here. Like, you have to use a certain poundage of bow to kill, like, a deer or something.
Well, they used to have a rule, no helicopters, but they have now resolved it.
But then the rich people were like, I want to shoot stuff from my helicopter. And they're like, okay.
I remember Ted Nugent was doing that. There were boars somewhere, I think in Michigan.
Yeah.
And they're everywhere. He was allowed to shoot from the helicopter. I mean, it did look like a lot of fun. Although I don't think I would enjoy shooting koalas or horses.
No. Seems wrong somehow. I mean, I guess it is just an animal, but I don't know. Pigs are destructive.
But if they were covered in a more delightful fur, cats are destructive, right?
Yeah, cricket is very destructive.
But I would never shoot one from a helicopter. And finally, here's a rare one that you hear about. I kind of thought at first, I was like, oh, did a bird carry this? But no, this is just how powerful these turbines are.
United Airlines flight sees engine fire after takeoff due to apparent rabbit strike.
I guess just the end of the runway. Rabbit was chilling.
Oh.
Got caught up in the backwash and sucked them on in there. The people, imagine that. You're taking off, everything's good. Maybe you got a little bit of anxiety about flying.
You're a little jittery, yeah.
Yeah, and then there's massive explosions and fire. And the plane starts shaking because of a rabbit. And if you want to
just turn around immediately, though, right?
Yeah, they came back. But if you want to think about something even more insane, imagine the rabbit
Oh.
Rabbits just sitting there munching on some clover or something. It's like, Jesus, that's loud, but I'm getting used to it because I've been here for a couple of minutes. And then,
well, if you've been at the airport for any amount of time, maybe the rabbit's just desensitized to the sound.
Well, pro tip if you're a rabbit.
Don't live at the airport.
Yeah, no matter how delicious that clover is, don't go.
All right, well, you've wasted a perfectly good week with us. We will see you guys in the next one. Also, go check out our other channel where we will be moving a lot of the news episodes to in the future. Bye.